who's in your area who is a brony, who wants to go to the events, who don't even know that a community exists and just likes the show. Because unfortunately, people are really segmented on that fact. We like to imagine that a large majority of people go on Equestria daily, because that's like the biggest media hub of the community. And you'll get a pretty significant number of people, but maybe half. Probably even not that. A lot of people don't go on Equestria Daily anymore. Once you get fit into some small part of the community, you kind of edge away from the larger scope of things and hang with your friends a lot, and then you lose out on all that.
Well, and that's what we found with Muse Equestria, trying to market it, because Equestria Daily helped, but it was like way better to just talk to those communities because they were all close-knit and they all know each other and they all are.
Yeah, and the problem with those meetup or those media sites these days is that they've gotten so huge and they have so many articles constantly writing them during the day. I don't know what their view count is, but a good article will probably garner 100, maybe 200 comments. And in the grand scheme, that's really not a lot. So you need to find a way to, for local, medium, regional events, try to find ways in your region to get out to people. A lot of us started meetup groups, meetup.com. It's money. It does cost a little bit of money, but once you get a little bit of a community behind it, then people will definitely donate money.
Almost every
to keep
place
Yeah.
that's like of a certain size has a brony meetup group
Google your
already.
county.
Pretty much. It does Vancouver.
Yeah.
Vancouver has one.
Yeah, if you just Google your county or your city with the word brony, you'll usually find a meetup.
I knew we had a Facebook. I didn't know.
Yeah, Facebook pages are common. There used to be other pony networks that have risen and fallen.
Risen and fallen.
Felon?
It's not the word I was looking for.
No, it
It's been
wasn't.
felled?
They've been
I'm glad
felled.
you're.
I don't know, I'm tired.
Don't worry about it.
Just trying to push along with this.
Hey, I'm not worried about
Money.
it.
But that doesn't mean you should turn away from Equestria Daily, because that's always helpful. It's just, it can be difficult to find an article that reaches a lot of eyes on that. And really, the best way to solve that problem is to just go on every single media site you can find. Try to find the people that you know locally who are on Twitter, who have at least 1,000 followers, have them talk about it, maybe pull them in as a special guest, and then they'll talk about it more. There's little tricks to it.
Yep.
And just keep spreading the word as much as you can. You can even try to incorporate things that aren't pony in your events, and then talk to just kind of tangential communities and friends that you have and say, hey, do you want to go to this party we're having? And it'll kind of grow the numbers a little more. And that probably solves it for marketing.
Yeah.
Money is often a large issue for events like this.
Yes.
And I found a couple ways, I'm sure you guys have too, to sidestep this whole money problem. Because if you think of a venue, even a small venue, renting out like a dance hall or some, like a room of this size is probably still going to be a couple $100 for an evening.
You're looking at least $100, if not more.
Yeah. And if you want incentives for people to come, sometimes you want to bring some small amount of food. That's also an expense. There's, if you want music, bring electronics, either you have them or find someone who has them, or you...
Or a musician, if you want a musician.
Yeah, and I'll hit
gonna
upon all
cost
those
you.
to solve the money problems. For Northwest Brony Fest, which I... with the help of Austin here, modeled off of the local YouTube gathering that I've been to a couple times. We have this in Portland, Oregon, and the goal is pretty much to wander the city and have a great time. And the whole wander the city part is fantastic in the summer, because usually the weather's great,
Yep.
and because you're wandering the city, you don't need a venue. You don't actually have a room that you rent out. You can go to places which are just publicly free. You can eat in the mall, or Portland has some amazing food carts. Powell's is it still the biggest bookstore in the country? Or
It's the biggest bookstore in the world, as far as I know, unless that Waterstones is bigger.
Possibly.
In London, they built a Waterstones. I think it's bigger.
They have a big farmers market. Novelty places like Voodoo Donut. If you've heard of that, people who are regional
Yes.
might know that. Delicious bacon maple donuts. So that's already like 5 destinations to go, which fills one day fully.
You gotta warn people though. I find like sometimes I've organized YouTube gatherings and then we've walked around and people are like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Can we just stop walking, please, God? And like, I just walk places. I don't realize that people, so you got to warn them, like, we're going to walk from this place to this place to this place to this place, so that they know how much walking is involved in these those kind of events.
And having a city to work with also allows you to kind of split the events.
Well, and also having a plan for when people start to complain about walking that you can walk to and sit in for quite a long time.
Yeah, and we have managed to find, through friends of friends, we have a venue called the Red Coach that serves burgers, and our agreement for the past...
And amazing milkshakes.
Amazing milkshakes. If you're ever in Portland, try them out. They're our friends.
Yes.
And their deal with us is, because they're not going to do it for free, of course, but if we bring people there and everyone buys food, like everyone eats dinner there, makes an effort to have dinner, their last meal, at that restaurant, and they make a certain money, then they'll have the venue for free. So a lot of local companies will do that for you if you search around or find people who own a place.
And the Red Coach went so far as to make pony menus.
Yeah,
so they put little ponies on the menus. I walked in and they had like old ponies on the menus. I was like, oh no, you guys got the wrong ponies. And they're like, oh no, you just tell us what ponies and I'll change it. And I was like, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. They're like, no, we're changing it. Like they made the biggest effort and they like named all the burgers after ponies, and it was great.
Yeah, because they want it to be really successful, so they'll go, the extra mile to make sure people have a good time.
Well, that's the other thing. Like when we played the Middle East in Boston, they made a pony drink menu as well, and pony food.
We'll get to the tour.
I think my experience then is a little more unique to your guys' because we called around to local businesses and venues and said, this is what we want to do, and we're very limited on the kind of money that we can raise. And a lot of places donated because it's, they have the ability to just donate something and say, it's a write-off. So we got food and drinks and ice and stuff like that donated to our events. And then being in LA makes us a little more, I don't really know the word for it, but we have a bigger opportunity to reach out to people who do a lot of different entertainment jobs. So when we put on all of these events, I knew someone who knew how to do sound. I knew someone who had projector screens and a projector, and I knew someone who had speakers and all these other things. So we just utilized what people already had as opposed to actually renting anything out, which gets really expensive. And so we kind of had it a little bit easy that way because we were like, oh, this person can do this and that and that and that, and then we don't have to worry about renting or calling around to get quotes and prices, and that really kept our large meetups at a very reasonable, manageable price.
It's also nice in this kind of day and age where everybody does everything.
Right.
Like my suggestion to you is do everything, because then people want you at their event, and also make friends with people who do everything, because when we do everything, you know how to do like 17 million things like mediocrely, and that's like a really good that's a really good skill to have.
And it's important to, like, money is a cost, but the next thing on your list is staff. It is important to find people who don't just say, yes, I can do it, but they commit to actually doing it, and that they're reliable, and that you know them well enough that you can say, hey, can you do this for me? And they'll come through on it, because as we know from running conventions, although we're not really supposed to talk about that too much, it's very easy to get, we have 180 volunteers, and then come con day, maybe we have 90 people show up.
Well, and they'll come through for you because they assume that you're going to come through for them one day also.
Yeah.
So like trading favors is like a great way to not spend any money. Like, hey, I'll do this for you, and then next time they're doing something, you do that for them.
Yeah, exactly. And we found a lot of really young bronies that were trying to make a name for themselves, like DJs or people who were, trying to break into like the audiovisual industry. And you can put this experience that you have with these meetup groups on your resume. You can say, I ran, or I threw this event, or I did this at this event. You didn't get paid, but it's still something you can do. So it is beneficial to help out as much as you can, because it teaches you management skills and responsibility and how to prioritize things. So besides just hanging out with everyone, it's a good opportunity to expand your skills and what you're capable of bringing to the table if you start looking for a job as well.
Oh, for sure. Fantastic resume material sometimes.
My whole resume is just like consisted of shit I've done for free, stuff I've done for free.
Stuff you've done for free.
I love things. Things I've done for free.
I love fun things.
Yes. So that's a good resume builder because most of my resume is stuff I've just done for free.
Oh, but touching on money, you can always get a PayPal account for your group. Like the SoCal Bronies has a PayPal account, and then you say, we're throwing this big event, we need to meet this goal, and then people start to put, a couple dollars in, and over time it builds up, and the agreement is just, if we raise the funds, then we'll put a down payment on a venue or a location, and then we'll start buying all the supplies. But it's really, really up to you to let people know that you want to throw this event. And don't be afraid to just spam the heck out of it, because I guarantee that someone is not going to see what you wrote 5 minutes ago. Not that I'm saying you should spam it that much, but every couple days you can bring it up and talk to your organizers. If you find a group and say, hey, can you help me promote this? And if they see that you're taking initiative, they will definitely support you guys. Because I was nobody when I started planning, or nobody in the group rather, when I started planning our March Marathon, and by the time we were 2 weeks out, I was already a co-organizer, so they care. Organizer. So they care that you're taking the initiative and seeing things happen, because that just shows responsibility.
Is it organizer with an S up here?
Somebody more Canadian than me. How do you spell organizer?
Canadian spelling joke.
No, nobody knows. Sorry.
I don't know. I use a Z.
Forget it. I think it's an S. Isn't it an S?
It's a Z.
Are you sure?
It's a Z. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Lost Canadian points on that one. Two attempts.
First of all, I never said the letter.
What? I know. I did. I said it wrong. I said
You
falsely.
lost Canadian points. Okay.
Yes.
Get out of my country. No, it's okay. You can stay.
Okay.
What's next on your notes?
Oh, well, I also, before we get too far from the whole money thing, I did want to note that I usually suggest people not have a straight payment, like $5 to get into this event, if you can avoid it. Free event, this is actually only one's really working. Actually,
I think
no.
it's this one, isn't it?
Oh, I think they are both.
They do?
That was distracting. If you can make a free event, make a free event. You will get more people to come, which really is the goal. Profit shouldn't be your focus if you're just running small events like this.
And you also shouldn't be really focused on it. Like if somebody, just let people come if they can't.
Yeah.
Pay. Like if somebody comes to you and they're like, oh man, I only have $2 instead of $5. Just it's $3. Just let them in.
Yeah, because a lot of these events, you should be able to find people within your community who can do a lot of the things like AV and provide all sorts of services that I can't think at the moment. But you'll run across a lot of them that people have even professional experience in, and they'll do it for free, especially in the pony community. I've found specifically
I'd
people
like to point out that they will do it for tradesies, maybe not for free, but for some other thing that's not monetary.
Yeah, well,
Because
I would focus
I really
on that.
don't like saying, will you do this for free? Because that's like a big insult on their
You
skills
should give them some
as
sort of
humans.
compensation that
They
is
do it for
necessarily
a job, so you
monetary.
should give them.
But
you should
regardless,
offer them
people are
something.
definitely willing to offer services.
Bronies are very giving. They'll do it for free, trust me.
Food is cheaper than money.
Yes.
Food is a nice thing to offer people because you're gonna have it anyways or something, so it's
is a
cheaper
great-
than money. You know what I mean?
That's just a great statement. Food is cheaper than money.
Food is cheaper than money. Write that down.
Good point. Can be true.
If anybody's taking notes,
And-
write it down.
Yeah, and donations can be huge because people, there are people out there, and don't abuse this, but there's people out there with just a lot of money on their hands and want to put it to a good cause. So you'll get a lot of college students who are like, I don't have money, I'm eating out of my, the pennies that are falling out of my pockets.
We don't have those.
But you're right. There are.
I only have 3 loonies. I can't pay you. It's my lunch.
But
No.
there are people, adults that work or kids with extra income because they've got a part-time job and they do want to see this happen. So, like I said, they throw in a few bucks, they throw in a lot of bucks. But if you can see the progress, people get the money in for the event.
I just made a quick point, not quick at all. So that's money. And then the last thing on my little mini list, unless you can think of other things, are just the activities that you do at the events, because that's kind of the bulk. That's what people are going for. There's a lot of fun things you can do. I think we've mentioned a handful already. There's the Wandering the City, marathons, music things. I don't even know if we touched upon
Also,
that.
every kind of city has the the cool place. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Portland has the Powell's and like the famous things. I don't know what Vancouver has. What does Vancouver have? You guys? The aquarium. That's the major point to most of my gatherings actually in Vancouver is the aquarium. How could I
money,
forgot
though.
that? It is a lot of money. Vancouver
Stanley
Aquarium is
Park.
ludicrously.
Stanley Park's fun. I really like walking around the streets, but
So
that's
I mean,
weird.
it's always nice to just go, hey, we're hanging out at blah, or like, oh, we're going to see this movie, or we're going to do this thing, and that's a nice way to meet everybody and stuff
Yeah.
like that too.
For people who are old enough, pub crawls are also a huge thing. We've had music.
Did I just say movie and then you thought of pub crawls? Is that what just happened here?
I think we just
We just saw The World's End, and we're just like in.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Just came out here.
Oh my gosh. Enough about that movie.
Okay, fine.
All day you've been talking about that movie.
Music events are some of the more difficult ones to put on, so I don't suggest starting with those. Anything that has extensive AV and time slots.
And if
can
you
be
do,
difficult.
and you're not going to feed musicians, or if you're not going to pay musicians, you should feed them.
Yeah. Yeah.
One or the
Again,
other.
like, back to
Feed
the
them or pay
services
them.
comment does that.
Yeah.
People you can open it up for people to sell items. I believe it's a small enough event. You shouldn't need tax information, but don't quote me on that because I really don't know. And it differs.
They won't.
It depends on
Generally,
the
they
state,
won't.
It also depends on the
They might-
country.
Yeah.
They might require you to have event insurance, though.
Yes.
Which is a thing that we ran into at Musiquestria. I thought that everybody would require us to have event insurance because that's a thing. And then I found out that no, America doesn't care about event insurance. So if you live in America, don't worry about it.
Well,
Yeah, it depends
for
on the
some
event.
things.
No,
Yes.
yeah, it's the event. Like if you're running a convention, you need event insurance. But if you're
Yes.
just having,
If you're running a music
like this,
event, you
if you're
don't,
just having a little
apparently.
panel like this, they won't ask you for it. So don't scare them off with
Hey,
that.
come in here and play that.
I like your ukulele.
Hey, don't worry about it. I'm not having a panel out here or anything.
I get distracted easily.
He's not even listening.
You know what I,
know he
found
can't hear
too
us.
is like you could just say, "Hey guys, let's meet at Balboa Park," like a park.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's 25, 30 people there, and then you
I'll-
go, "Oh my goodness, now what are we gonna do?"
Yeah.
We did that once, and 70
it's
people
so
showed
hard.
up. So that's not what you. That's the thing that you don't want. You don't want to not have a plan for.
Right.
Well-
70 people are here. What do I do?
But you know what we did? We ended up going to a pizza parlor, and they had a TV up there, and there were no games on or anything, no football, no baseball. So we said, "Hey, can we plug our computer into this TV?"
Oh, that's amazing.
I was
And they were
hoping
like,
it was
"Yeah,
going
no
there.
problem." And so we ate pizza, and we
You watched My Little Pony?
We watched A Friend Indeed, actually.
Wow.
And everyone else in the pizza parlor was like, "What the heck is this?" But they just saw like a bunch of people having fun, and they were cool with it. So we go back there pretty often and play ponies now.
I only know episodes about their songs. Is that the one with the smile song?
Smile song,
Okay.
yeah.
Did everyone sing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
it was very
yes.
embarrassing.
That was fantastic in
It was
public.
very embarrassing.
It was.
It's the best
Did
kind of
everybody
embarrassing.
sing the theme song too?
Probably.
Yeah, they did, and they started quoting and stuff. But
Awesome.
It's the best.
Quote
It's just fun. This community is just really fun.
Yes.
It doesn't take a lot to make an event
Oh
awesome.
man, I love fun things.
We're spouting a lot of information at you, but
I hope you guys are taking notes. There's a test at the end.
actually, I do wanna
hopefully you're
ask a
not
question.
overwhelmed. Yeah, we have.
I do want to
I
ask
thought you
a
were
quick
pushing
question,
me
though.
off the table. Like you're so,
How many of you are actually part of a meetup group?
yeah, you
like,
guys
see?
are awesome.
3 people.
Join that one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
So the rest of you have to get into their group or
The meetup groups
Some
are
other
really,
group.
really friendly, and they're always family friendly.
How many of you guys are from the States?
But there is a Boston one though. There's a Boston group.
Yeah.
United States represent.
So are you
So you
not from there.
You should try and find a meetup group around you that's very pony geared because they're always doing stuff and it's always family friendly. And in Southern California, we have plenty of parents that come with their kids because they're like, "Oh, I don't know about this." They're strangers, and then they get to know us, and they see that some of us are responsible, and so they're willing to leave their children
and then they leave
in our
their
care.
kids. We had that at a YouTube gathering. Like there was 150 people there. This mom came. The kid was like he was like 10, and he was like really like, I want to go to this. So they drove from like middle America. I don't know, American jail, you know, the middle, and somewhere in the middle, and something with an M. And like his mom came and talked to like 3 people, and then his mom was just like, no, I like these guys, and just went away.
Yep.
And left her 10-year-old kid with 150 strange YouTubers. It was amazing though. She just got it. She was like, oh, wow, I get this. And I feel like that's like what our community, like the YouTube community and the Brony community, like have in common, that like we have really cool people.
We're a safe area.
Yeah, we're safe.
So I think one of my points was slightly interrupted, but basically with all of this information, don't feel overwhelmed, because all of these medium range activities and meetups and gatherings are pretty darn easy to run. Keep everything in mind. Don't drop the ball in any of those categories. Delegate where necessary. Find some friends to help you out. And really,
I'll help you out.
It ends up, yeah.
If you guys have any questions ever in your lives, like with your relationships, or probably more likely your
Events.
Your events. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I got your back.
Talk to people who've done it before.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be us. It can be.
It can be me.
But there's a lot of people who run events.
They're probably too
have
busy. I got
experience.
nothing else on.
Yeah, I'll answer your event questions, but I won't answer anything about your relationships, so.
I will. I'll answer any question you got.
And speaking of answering your event questions,
Segue.
best segue of the panel, I think we can open it up to Q&A unless
Sure.
you have any more
Yeah.
points.
It wasn't a I need a.
Any question, doesn't matter.
How are babies made?
When a man loves a woman very much,
Nope, that's it.
and then your mom will tell you the rest.
Something about sea ponies, I think.
Right here.
Are we really having a quiz?
Yeah, there's actually a quiz at the end.
Oh, there is?
Hand out,
No, there
out of
isn't. I'm
paper
kidding.
with 2 sheets on 4 sheets. Share all of this.
Is the question who's best pony?
Question, like more serious question.
I like those.
What about like when you have a group of people and you're running a group that's a little bit larger than you'd probably expect it to be? What about like those probably like maybe 1 or 2 problem people that you don't know what to do with?
Ooh, this is a good
Problem
one.
people.
There's a lot of different ways to handle it.
You know, I'm really sorry that I had to bring this up in public.
There's a lot of ways to handle it. What I
Do you
have
want me to kick him out
found,
of the panel? Is that okay? I'm just kidding.
we,
Plug your ears while we tell her the answer.
what I have found is that it works really, really good to just be a sort of pull them aside and say, look, what you're doing is making people uncomfortable. And because if you're leading the group, that should be your job. You just pull them aside and say, look, you're making people uncomfortable. And if they can't respect that, then you can certainly tell them, you know, we're going to need you to leave because you're disrupting the group and you're causing problems. And believe me, I did my fair share of that at several of the conventions I've been to and have run. So it sucks. It's like one of the worst jobs that you have to do, because no one likes to tell someone, dude, what are you doing? Why is that happening?
There are a lot of very, I'm going to call them enthusiastic bronies in this community. And I try to just be as nice as I can and just live with them, because they're part of the community just like everyone else is.
If it gets to a point where it's going to hurt the event or something, or really it just gets too far, obviously respect and courtesy are the first steps. Pull them aside for sure, as you mentioned, because you don't want to, even if you're not going to make a scene, they might.
And you don't want to embarrass them in front of everyone because they probably don't even realize what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or you could go the mom route, which I like to do too.
If they have a guardian, that's always
Just be like,
Yeah.
would you behave like this at home? No, you wouldn't. You need to calm down.
I'm going to
This
count
is
to 3.
unacceptable.
1, 2, and then everything's better after that.
Yeah.
No, but sometimes they're just young or they're just not socially graceful.
It's
and you
the
just
social
have to,
anxiety thing
you just
that we
have to
have
be a
in
little
this
bit like a
community.
mom and give them a little bit of like stern navigation.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you need to behave. And
Yeah, sometimes they don't know
respond.
that they have a social
Yeah, so help them
problem,
out.
and you should just tell them, like, not that they have a social problem, but that what they're doing isn't acceptable in society.
yeah.
In the current environment.
Should I
what
give
you're-
you
Nicely.
Thank you
You
for the
always want to say it nicely.
Thank you.
It's never like, hey,
is
you know
why we
that thing
don't-
that you did over there, that's not cool.
This
You
is
just
why they
say,
don't
hey,
let me
please
talk.
don't do that
This is
again.
why you don't bring robots to panels.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sweetie Belle.
Error. All right, next question.
We know you guys have questions. They can be about cons. It's
Sam.
okay.
Who are the unsung heroes, do you think, of events and conventions? Like, just the people who do the most work and never get the most credit for it?
Good question. That I second Austin's answer.
Really all the staff works really hard, but, putting on an event 80 hours a week, easy, spent putting on events.
Honestly, like
So-
I've seen Austin sometimes like just not eat, like not sleep, like because he's just so busy and like falling down tired.
Don't be a full-time student, run a convention, run a music tour,
Yeah,
run
don't-
2 other events, be the meetup organizer of the local meetup group, and
AKA, don't be an idiot like Austin.
I'm sorry.
He's the poster child for what
but
not to do.
It's really easy to get too much on your plate. Like,
Way too
I'm going
much.
to plan the Grand Galloping Gala in Equestria, LA, and I'm going to work 40 hours a week. And so this takes 40 hours a week. This takes 80 hours a week, and this takes another 20 hours a week.
she's in this
And I don't have that much time in my week, but I'm going to make it happen with blood, sweat, and tears, So,
Austin's just texting. Don't worry about it.
Texting my friend Becky, I think she arrived at the convention. I think she arrived at the panel room.
She might be in this panel
Hey
actually.
Becky, you should come inside.
tell
Hey,
Becky
why
to
don't,
ask
why don't you have a
question.
seat? Ask us a question about
Yes,
organizing
ask us the
events.
question.
I don't have any questions.
Everybody turn and look at.
Do you have any
this is our
questions
friend
about what we
Becky.
talked about for the last 45 minutes?
Can you repeat it in 10 seconds?
All right, so we'll start with introductions.
Yeah, there is a quiz at the.
There is a quiz.
So
And
I'm not prepared for this.
all right, we're now going to lock the doors. Everyone's to take the quiz, and
yeah.
Eyes on your own paper, please.
If anybody has any other questions,
I'm really surprised that you're all here, but you have no questions.
you got.
I think we were just really thorough.
This guy's got a question. Shh.
All right, here is a question.
Give it to me.
Say that you are well into like the process of planning and putting an awesome event together, and for one reason or another, staff opinions on visions for an event start to diverge, to put it delicately. How would you, as like an upper level manager of such an event, approach the situation where you may very well be hurtling toward a possible staff exodus?
Have a rival event.
I totally want to.
Just
A
competition.
couple of us have
No,
to be
I'm just
very
kidding. They
careful
should
how we
answer this.
respond to this answer.
Yes. It's harsh to say, but ultimately, when you're running an event, it's a dictatorship, not a democracy. So it just says who's head honcho, what's their decision, what's their vision. And that's really the way it has to go. And you don't necessarily have to agree with it, but if you agree with the overall vision, believe me, you can ask the guy in the back of the room in the aqua shirt. I ran Equestria LA, and not everyone was always fond of every decision I made. But sometimes you just have to make a decision and it is difficult when you're working with friends and you want to keep everyone happy, but you also have to realize what's the end goal and what's going to achieve the end goal. Like, not everyone's going to be happy. So it's the tough decision of let the person that's in charge make the decision. And if you don't like it, you can leave. You don't have to sit there and deal with an answer or a way of planning that you don't like.
Yeah, and one step back from that, when you start to plan an event, depending on how large it is, the larger it is, the more structure you need. Make sure that everyone realizes what the chain of command is.
Yes, that's really important, yeah.
Because there's like one grand designer usually of an event. It can be a few people, but there has to be one person in charge who makes the yes or no decisions when it's tough. Because things will come up that split the staff, as you mentioned. Like there will be decisions that half of the people say yes to and half the people say no to, and one side will pitch a fit depending on what the decision ends up being. So if everyone understands that this is the person that makes the decisions, this is a rational decision that's made with all things considered, you need to be quiet and sit down. Like that's how it ends up needing to be. It can be tough sometimes, but again, that's one of the reasons that I usually tell people not to run larger and larger events, because you run into politics that no one ever wants to hit.
People's feelings get hurt.
Yeah, because everyone jumps in it to have a great time, but when for a convention, for example, it's a business, and it's a hefty business at that. It's going to be difficult. It's going to ruin your life. You're going to get completely burned out. I'll say all the
Are you
negatives.
speaking from
quite.
experience? It's going to ruin your life.
But
My life has been ruined.
His life is ruined. His life
you
is
would
over.
be surprised how many times you can split a group
That's
by
why he
saying,
flew to Canada.
Rarity is the best pony, and then it's just like,
Yeah, and then they mark you from day one.
yeah. And they're like, I don't like anything she does.
Yeah. We have fundamentally different beliefs because its best pony is different. So,
I hope that answers your question a little.
Yeah.
It's a good, did we cover everything?
And some funnies on the side.
Considering like what Gaddy cannot say about your events.
If you want to talk more in depth, find us after.
And they'll
Yeah.
tell you all
And
the
that
secrets
goes-
about their events.
And that goes for everything, because I mean we have a solid 10 minutes left for more questions, and I'm sure you have more questions. But if anyone wants to talk just more of like a 1-on-1 or a 1-on-3 or 2-on-3 or 2-on-2 or a
What are you talking about here?
5-on-5 game, 15 minutes, first to 10 points,
Volleyball? Volleyball.
then see us after, and we'd be happy to talk in a smaller group or just for quicker yes or no questions.
Or if you want to have a
Fun
volleyball
advice.
game, that's fine too.
We'll answer anything.
Or if you want to talk about your relationships.
Yeah, I'm also happy to give my like Skype information out, and if you want to talk in the future, I'm sure these guys.
Email,
Will.
Skype is fine.
Yeah. Oh, why did this community choose Skype for business things?
I hate Skype. Just email me.
I'm bad at email though.
Skype can go away.
Because I can ignore you if I don't want to answer you.
That's true.
But you can do that on emails too.
I put myself on invisible. I'm not here.
Tell us a fun story about some event you've ran.
A fun story?
Fun story.
Oh, here's a really fun story. Okay, the very first event that I ran, the March Marathon, cost like $600. So we managed to raise all that, and I put all of that on my debit card, and I was like, I'll just transfer the stuff over from PayPal later. PayPal locked the account, and then I'm sitting there going, I have a $600 expense that I was supposed to pay for, and so it was like months before I got that money back. But you sometimes have to be kind of prepared for that stuff.
Is that the suspicious activity shutdown when you get a lot of
Yeah.
money?
No, it was
going?
like the person that set up the account never fully set it up.
Oh.
And so it's just all this money sitting in limbo. And I'm like, what are you doing? Call them, set it up, do something.
Yeah.
I need this money.
That's a random tidbit of information. If
Always
you do
set
end
up
up
PayPal properly.
Yeah, if you do end up having like a large event, PayPal has this fun little thing where it always sides with the customer. So if you're running a large event and there's someone who just wants to, even if they have no right to, or well, they have right to, no real reason behind it. If they like request a refund or something, or they say that you haven't given them what you promised, even if you have, PayPal will often freeze your account. And a lot of times you need that money to do something. There's a few random workarounds like putting it to your bank immediately, putting it from that bank to a different bank account, having 2 PayPal accounts, and there's just...
You know how you work around that just really easy? Always have them send it as a gift. They can't dispute it.
But people won't
Donations
always
should
do
always
that.
be gifts because PayPal likes to take money away from that. Indiegogo likes to take money, and Kickstarter likes to take money. So it's better if you can work with PayPal and then have everything sent as a gift so you don't get charged. Because then they start asking silly things about what's your tax ID number and what's your social security number and why is there $50,000 in this account? Because we're running a convention.
Who is Pinkie Pie?
Yeah, who is Pinkie
PayPal
Pie?
doesn't know. It's unfortunate.
So.
Yeah, that doesn't have to do anything with the medium events that we're talking about, but it's just a fun fact. Question.
Yes.
Give it to us. One geared more toward a larger convention. Like
Sure thing.
this. But, well, there are a lot of PonyCons happening nowadays. There are what, like 36?
Yeah, too many.
Too many.
Yeah, it's up there.
An awful lot of them are actually concentrated within the United States. As like the heads of various conventions, do you sometimes feel there's like a friendly rivalry thing going on, or do you are more of the opinion that each convention has like its audience and location it caters to?
Friendly rivalry is a good way to put it.
Well, Equestrian LA and Everfree have always worked really closely together. We consider ourselves sister cons, and there's no rivalry there except for like, oh, you guys got 2,200 and we only got 16. What is that?
I
But
know.
yeah, there is rivalry sometimes because not all of the conventions are friendly. And some of them blow up because they're not friendly, as we've
Yeah.
seen. So, you know, I'm not going to point names out or point at a particular con, but some LPU. No, but some just don't want to be friendly. They don't want to help out. They think what they do is secret and special. And Equestria LA has always been like, you want to know how to run a con? We'll tell you everything to the point that you're scared away from it because it's a big deal. So rivalry, yes, there's rivalry.
I think a lot of what causes that is inexperience. People start an event and either it expands like ours and they can't handle it, or they didn't didn't realize that it's way, way, way more work than they initially put into it. So then the stress builds and they don't know how to handle it, and they see other things that will potentially shut down their event, like another PonyCon that's in the same exact situation, and they conflict with the dates, and they realize like, well, no one's going to go to both of these, and we need this number to be successful, so now we're screwed unless that con somehow dies. And then people make rash decisions from there.
Well, you know what? You're right. There is rivalry. Like the West Coast
Yeah.
is really chill, right? This con, Everfree, LA, we're all chill. But then you get to like the Midwest, there is so much anger going on between those conventions.
So unfortunate.
So there's rivalry definitely.
Yeah, and there's something to say when we get, when the number of PonyCons. Oh, we can.
Yeah, you talk.
Okay. There's
Oh, I'm sorry.
Once you
Yes,
once
no,
you get to
don't worry about
a number of total pony conventions, or conventions just in one market, one fandom, one community, then it hurts all of the conventions because it's a business. We pretty much thrive off of the numbers we can pull in, or depend on your range and what you're aiming for. But say, okay, well, it's risk, but we think we can make this big of a con, and for the first couple months, that's fantastic. 4 more cons come up, suddenly the big, successful, sustainable con is hurt because these other ones are pulling everyone to local events. They're like, I'm not going to drive 4 hours to this one when there's one in my backyard.
I think if you're going to start something, think small first, and then expand.
Because
to
that's
big when
really
it happens.
usually what I see when I see people, and then they come to the conventions who've started, which is good because they're asking us for advice.
Like how
But
Karen
we're
was talking
do
about.
you really want to run a convention because you realize that we're the next weekend and you're probably not going to be successful.
Well, and Karen was talking about she started at 500 and then or maybe lower.
Yeah, 500.
Yeah.
And then that got reached, and then you expanded. Like,
Right.
just book places that have the option to expand. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I'll always keep repeating that. Everfree was aiming for 300-400 people the first year. We had a small Holiday Inn venue, and we ended up getting way more people and made the
And
decision.
having to expand.
Yeah, made the decision to expand because it was available to a hotel nearby. I think it worked out in the end. It was a good con.
I like how the question was about rivalry and you guys just went everywhere with it.
And then I started talking about myself and how
Yeah.
awesome my event is.
Always.
And how awesome you are. That's
How
pretty
awesome
much
I am.
always the
Sorry, wait a
way.
minute.
Amazing. But there was another question, so we'll go.
LA
which
is
person
better.
was-
We know this.
I don't know. There's a guy back there.
Fine.
Disneyland.
Question.
I guess my question is, in terms of Canadian conventions, just because in the States the show airs on the Hub, which is more of a general kids event, compared to up here in Canada where it's on Treehouse, which is more of a preschool oriented channel. And certainly, I guess, have you seen any concerns or issues like in terms of promoting like conventions up in Canada or promoting the show in general, just because it might be typecasted as a preschooler series up here?
I don't really find that it's typecast as a preschool. Like, I know it's on Treehouse, but that's not my experience.
I mean, the Hub is definitely, it's a kids channel, and
Yeah, but the Hub
the
is
Hub
a
plays
kids
mature
channel.
stuff too, though.
Treehouse TV, you guys aren't
Preschool.
they're not from Canada.
I know it's,
Treehouse TV is for
it's-
kids, like children.
The Hub is not.
2 feet tall.
2 feet tall.
And they're not consistent with their episodes. They don't play
them in any kind
that's
of order.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Call them up.
But I mean, I don't.
Yeah, we need to talk.
That's the problem.
Hi,
Actually,
Treehouse. Can you guys sort your stuff out?
Respect these
You want to know what?
toddlers.
Actually, our first year at Equestria LA, we did not have many kids, and the second year we promoted like crazy, and we had a lot of kids. And I feel like don't look at this as just a brony convention. It's My Little Pony as a community. So there's such an untapped resource with all these children that would love to come. They would love to meet Pinkie Pie.
And I always say
that's
that
important.
it's their show first. Like, it's a kids' show first. We've borrowed it from them. It is a great show, but it's a kids' show.
Yeah.
And I think the kids need to come first.
But yeah, it can be difficult if
That was my.
I was gonna add
if
some
it's
of that,
just
but
being
yeah.
aired on some kids show channel.
I think this convention is shows that kids are coming because there are quite a few. I've seen quite a few kids around.
Yeah. And it's evolving this year, too.
Yeah.
Do we have a final question? One final question. Who has it?
A good
I know
one.
someone does.
Anything, we'll answer anything.
Better be good, though.
Can you cite this one?
That's not a question.
You're ridiculous.
That's a bad
And-
question,
and
but he
yes.
will later.
We'll
Am I
tell you
famous
all
now?
the secrets
Cool.
of a con. Just ask us. Yes.
What do you think of Vancouver?
Oh, I've been here a lot of times. I love it. No, I have one beef. Your drivers here are
You know why?
crud.
Can I? Can I defend the drivers here?
No, you
no,
can't.
No, I mean, can I
No,
defend? No,
no.
not the drivers. Can I defend Vancouver? The people who drive in Vancouver do not live in Vancouver. Nobody in Vancouver drives.
But the buses apologize.
That's why they're trying to hit you.
The buses apologize for everything, so it's great.
Do it.
No,
do
I
your
love
impression
Vancouver.
of the bus.
I love Vancouver, yeah.
Sorry, not in service.
We actually had a question. Right here, what?
Oh no, I just said I'm sorry if I rear-ended you.
I live in Vancouver, so I think it's great.
You'll know it's me. I'm in a big, huge, gas-wasting car. You'll know. You're just like, oh, I hit Karen, crap.
I like to walk in Vancouver.
Walking is good.
I live in Vancouver, so it's cool.
That does complete our hour.
Yeah.
Thank all of you guys for coming to this. This is more people than I expected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
To you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
It was a lot of fun.
And again, if you need to contact us, Twitter is at Glittering Pony or at glitteringpony@equestriala.com.
Mine is Bajati Games. BajatiGames@gmail.com works. My Skype is also Bajati Games. It's pretty easy to find me.
I'm out of the dark at gmail.com, and my Skype is something weird. So just email me and ask me, and I'll add it to you.
To find any of us, we can give you
I don't
the
even know my
contacts.
Skype. I'll just copy and paste it to you.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you and
guys.
good night. I just want to say that.
Good night, Vancouver.
Good night, Vancouver.
Drop your mic. Do your mic drop.